The Navy SEALs, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday swooped in to bring Osama bin Laden out alive. The strange thing is that he was housed and holed up in a opulent mansion that is estimated in real estate circles to be valued and appraised at $1.3 million. Here he is in an opulent mansion with high gated walls of 12 feet tall and barbed wire around every window. But even while it is that he's encased around these layers of strength and protection, he's got no power in the building. Can I say something? That is a reflection about a lot of people who are not in the Middle East, but a lot of people who are yet in church and churches themselves that have the signs of strength and power, but when you get close to it, you find out there's no energy inside of it. I wish that we would get to a place where the church would not just be a lot of big buildings, but no people are being healed, no people are being set free, and no deliverance is taking place. If in fact the transformation power of Jesus Christ is not taking place, then we are just running an Osama compound. But there ought to be something that when I come into the house of God, things I used to do I can't do anymore, and places I used to go I cannot go anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Navy SEALs swooped in on that Sunday afternoon, something incredible take place. And the incredible thing that took place, ladies and gentlemen, is that the helicopter found its way into grounding, and the highly trained Navy SEALs who were just from a few miles up the road in Virginia began to go into the mansion. But you'll notice that there is a small piece of information that has been omitted from CNN, Fox News, the Washington Post, New York Times, and the British Broadcasting Corporation. All of them have given the same report, and the same report is that when they finally got to the floor where Osama bin Laden was resting, that they were in fact engaged in a firefight. And while they were engaged in a firefight, here it is, there was a woman who laid down to protect his body. I've been waiting, ladies and gentlemen, for 48 hours for them to express, to expose, and to disclose what is the name of this woman who would in fact lay her body down for a man who in fact had evil intentions and diabolical schemes. What kind of woman loves a man so much that she'll say, I will love a man even when he's wrong? What kind of woman will stand in front of a bullet when he will not defend his family for himself? What kind of woman loses that kind of sensibility and says, I'm willing to make a sacrifice even though I know that millions of people will have their lives enhanced, improved, empowered, and impacted? And up until this hour, they have yet to release the name of this woman who would lay her body down in front of Osama bin Laden and take a bullet on his behalf. Well, lucky for you tonight, I found this woman who in fact laid her body down for this demoniac, this maniac, this insomniac who could not rest until democracy was wiped off of the planet. I found this woman, and she's got a bleeding, bleeping testimony, and it is found in 2 Kings chapter 11, verse number 18 through 20. And this woman's name is Athaliah. Athaliah, ladies and gentlemen, is a strange woman because when it is that she found out that the king had died, she took it upon herself that she wanted the authority, that she wanted the power, and she made up in her mind, hear me, she's going to kill everybody in the king's bloodline. I hope you aren't missing the intentionality of what I'm trying to teach you on tonight. Is she said, I want to kill all of the king's children, because if any of the king's children live long enough, they will rise to power power, and they will change the entire world. So she starts killing off the children of the king. But unbeknownst to her, they found one child of the king and hid him in a closet. She's killing off people. He is merciless, is relentless, is absolutely operating with no commonality and with no decency. But there is a time, ladies and gentlemen, in 2 Kings chapter 11 verse number 18, where the priest finally stands up and says, I've seen enough of the king's children being killed. Something has got to happen to this terrorist. All of you who want to see democracy and change and liberality take place, meet me at the church. But don't come to the church if you don't want to see spiritual warfare take place. Because when we come to church, it's not going to be a whole lot of singing. It's not going to be a whole lot of clapping. We are coming to destroy the entity and the power that has been killing the children of the king. I think y'all are finally getting it. And when the priest walked in, he said, I need everybody who knows how to fight. Go find the one who is secured, who God has anointed for such a time as this. Because the terrorists thought he was going to wipe out all of the king's kids. But he didn't know that there is a remnant of believers that says you might have wiped out some of the king's children, but there is still a representative left. And when Athaliah came into the temple, she saw that a new king had been sworn in, and she begins to cry out, treason, treason. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to notice this, that the priest now takes the order and says, don't kill her in the church, because I don't want blood in a sacred place, but take her outside into the palace. Take her in the palace she been hiding in, and when you take her in the palace she been hiding in, kill her there. I'm getting ready to finish, but I'm right now in 2 Kings chapter 11 verse number 20, and here's what verse number 20 says. Verse number 20 said, and all the people rejoice. Y'all getting ready to hear me? I'm coming around the mountain. Not only did all the people rejoice, but here's where we've got a paradoxical problem. The problem is that 20th verse says, the people rejoice, but the city remains silent. I know y'all didn't come for church tonight, but can you imagine there's a problem? Because you understand that the terrorist has just been killed. The people are rejoicing, but the city is quiet. Now I gotta figure out which group y'all belong to, because you can make up in your mind tonight whether you want to be silent or whether you gonna celebrate. It is not my job to tell you whether you ought to shout or be quiet, but there is something about God that says whenever you see the enemy defeated, there ought to be something in you that ought to be able to rise up and say, you know what, the enemy almost killed me, but because I'm still here, I can't sit here as if I deserve it. But when I think about the 3,000 that died in the World Trade Center and know that could have been my office building, when I think about those who died in the embassy in Kenya and knowing it could have been my house, when I think about the car bombs that went off and knowing it could have been next to mine on 695, I gotta say, Lord, thank you, because you've been better to me than